The rudderless Democrats are stuck in a leadership vacuum, and it seems like no one is young enough or woke enough to lead the party. The DNC's Vice Chair David Hogg is once again calling on Democrats to ditch the old guard.
Not just saying, well, if you're above a certain age, you shouldn't be there. Unfortunately, sucking is something that is not limited to being above a certain age, right?
AOC is young and as far left as you can get, but even she's not woke enough for the crazy Democrats. She just got heckled at her own town hall.
I'm a healthcare worker, and I want to know what you're doing about the genocide in Gaza.
I more than welcome people who disagree or are maybe even super pissed off at me for any issue to come, but we have some ground rules here, which is that please wait to the Q&A.
You know, Dana, to be fair, AOC was heckled by one person about Gaza, and I got to tell you, I think she handled it well.
I do too, and I just wrote down she's in the arena, right? So she's not an inside politician. She's been out and about. And I know initially when she was first elected, she didn't come here, and her offices were not being very good about constituent service, and I think that's changed a lot. And also she's figured out a way to get some mentorship from Bernie Sanders, however that's going to work for her, and some more name recognition. She can raise a lot of money. But what's interesting on this one is that we've been talking about this David Portnoy situation where he had two young people about this heckler's age saying terrible things about the Jews. And he's like, how are we going to help? He's like, well, I could punish them, or I could send them on a trip to Poland in order to try to educate them so that and I thought that's worthwhile. Now, apparently some of that is falling apart. I don't have all the details, but I just saw that in the commercial break. But what's interesting is that no matter what Trump does, the Democrats' numbers don't change. So Trump's numbers can come down a little bit, but the Democrats, they don't go up. Now, that might change at some point, but right now they are so generationally divided. And David Hogg, where's the inspiration? Where's the ideas? Now he also might be able to get those small dollar ex-post sugar highs, but there's not leading a movement. Yeah, I do admire her though, because at least she is out there and listening, and she didn't lose her cool.
No, she
I
didn't.
might have.
Thought no, you wouldn't have. No, Dana, you wouldn't have. All right. Harold, don't you think that Hogg has a point in wanting people who can actually win versus, those people who are basically institutions in Congress? They're so old. They're in safe districts. They don't even get excited about anything. They just run and run and run.
So, I think you're right, but I would broaden it out, Judge. That's Congress today. Most of these districts are drawn, be it a Democrat or Republican, with the exception of about 30 or 40 of them that resemble a lot of what you're saying. I am over the self-pity for the party. I'm over we lost, we failed, we have shortcomings. We now have to get to, we were talking in the break, I saw the sports commentator Stephen A. Smith on a rival network over the weekend, and I like him personally and have met him. He was excellent this weekend. And I think if anybody, any Democrat or Republican or anybody wants to enter politics, it's worth rewatching what he did. He brought common sense to the answers. I won't give it away, but the punchline is this: common sense, humility, real energy, and the prospect of new ideas. That's what everybody, be it the young fellow who's now the vice chair of the party, be it, I agree with you and Dana. I thought that the way the Congresswoman handled her town hall was the right way to do it. Let everybody come, but people who come to town halls also have to show respect for other people there, as well as the person who is your representative. So my takeaway, watch Stephen A. Smith. I thought he had it just right this weekend.
All right. Jesse, doesn't it seem that whenever a Democrat comes up with an idea that might benefit the Dems, that, they see him as the enemy? So, for example, Bill Maher, I had dinner with Trump, he was a pretty polite guy or whatever. And they're like, you're MAGA. Or who's the guy? Dean Phillips. He says Biden is too weak, and they got rid of him. And then Carville, you're all preachy females. And then, they trash him. They don't listen to people who are trying to help them.
Well, they don't debate. You're not allowed to debate if you're a Democrat. You just have to stick to the script and power on. That's worked before, but it doesn't work anymore, not in this media environment. But the youth factor is interesting because Reagan and Trump, very old, JFK and Clinton, very young. And they were both, all of them, very effective presidents. So age is just a number. I wouldn't tell you that in a courtroom, but age is just a number. Hogg is talking about a youthful spirit. Trump has it. Energy, tenaciousness, ideas, heaven forbid. And then he seated his administration with mostly young people. But they have to purge woke from the party, or at least neutralize it. And political parties have done that before. Clinton purged the socialists. Bush 43 purged the isolationist wing and the libertarian wing of the Republican Party during his 8 years. It can be done. It just needs to be done now. We have purged people from this show.
You're terrible. Go to Greg.
Yeah, I'm going to Greg. Greg, go. Well, actually,
I'm an expert on that.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's bigger than wokeness. It's the entire foundation of the Democrat Party. What is scary to Democrats is a black plumber agreeing with a white trucker, or a Hispanic cop agreeing with a gay tech nerd. That freaks them out because those stances are based on ideas and not identity. So we hear the media, and we'll sometimes say this, that like, political divisiveness is so bad, it's so awful. We say it out of context. It's political divisiveness that beats racial, age, gender, and class divisiveness. It's better to be politically divisive than it is in any other realm, because then it's no longer possible for the Dems to look at your skin color or your gender and say, you're this or you're that. A black athlete and a Hispanic truck driver, a white cop, we can all share the same politics. And the media pretends to hate, actually, they do hate political divisiveness because it will break everything up into idea-based differences, not race, not gender. And it's so much easier if you can just say, you're black, you believe this, you're gay, you believe this.
When you see me, what do you see? You see
I see a beautiful man. I see a beautiful young man, a wonderful father.
Times man of the year.
Yeah.
you.
And looking for another in-your-face Harold. That's what he thinks.
I don't see your color, Harold,
No.
if that's what you mean.
We all love you, Harold. Ahead, Jen Psaki explodes over questions about a Biden brain cover-up.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.